Walpurgis Shard Guide. If you don't read Limbus Company, I have issues with reading, so you know what? And plus, obviously, this is my first Wall PP, and we are at a point where we're potentially able to shard, right? And it looks like I'm kind of thinking we go for Magic Bullet, although, you know, people have been saying maybe other stuff, but we'll probably try and pull on the Magic Bullet banner as well. I don't know. You guys can let me know in chat, because we've got a couple of pulls that we can do today as well, so we'll do some of those in a bit. All right, let's get into it.
Before Wall PP, I suppose I should do something for the newbies as well. This will probably be a relatively short video, but you've seen the title already. Compared to last time, where it was a ranked list of stuff you need from Wall PP, this time round I'll be giving some priority rankings while letting you know the general use of each. As such, rather than going in ascending...
Is that what this is then? Is this going into, I guess, a bit of a priority order for sharding? Question. Is there going to be spoilers in this? I'm guessing not, because this is specifically down to characters and sharding, right? But I'm just wondering in case it, like, you know, it bounces off potential story spoilers around units and IDs and stuff. Just out of curiosity. I don't know if you guys have heard this or watched this, but yeah.
In order of usefulness, let's just cover things in release order. The first Walpurgis Knight.
Okay.
What Me E.G.O Regret Forced is an AoE tremor merchant that can be built around...
Oh, actually, this is a great video, because when I watched all of the Wall PP trailers, right, all of the PVs, I was saying to people in the comments, I do think some people did list, but not gonna lie, I didn't read them, sorry, list out what the units were. So actually, might be a good video for me. Might be a good video for me, this ad.
Wide variety of strong debuffs as well as plenty of tremor. With the help of support passives that allow her to gain more tremor count, she can abuse higher attack weights on her skill 2 and 3 to share around a lot of pain.
Right, okay.
She inflicts plus coin drop and has a team-wide defense down debuff upon tremor burst. She does, however, have little in the way of power gain and relies on clash power from her passive to clash things out, making her one of the more difficult to justify using in more modern content. However, if you just need AoE tremor application, she is the way to go. Faster Force for Everlasting have far higher priority though. He is a fun ID to
AoE
use,
tremor,
but is otherwise low priority. The new Force will likely outshine her a fair bit, if only for coming out almost 3 years later. Book offers Honglu. Tie-in is from a bloody canard.
I got him, didn't I?
And Hongers has several far better bleed IDs at this point.
Damn, just don't shard this guy. Rip. Rip. I'm not too well, I'm actually very happy about my pulls. I'm very happy about my pulls.
Several of which coming from this season alone. The fellow will spook your rolls and turn your screen green, giving you false hope. For that alone, he should be low priority. If you're watching this video and don't have either the Ring Nurse Father or S-Corp Chinook-kun, those are easily better options to fill these days. The Chinook-kun, you only have a few more hours to grab, so get grinding if you want to throw a budget Hongers on a bleed team. This fella, though, has zero priority. Rather, you'd be pissed if you sharded him. Regret Musou. This E.G.O is one of the single things that has warped Musou's identity.
Buzzing.
Design
very high priority. To be fair, people told me this anyway. They were like, this E.G.O's insane. So yeah, I wasn't shocked.
Global coin power for a needlessly cheap cost, and has some utility in also providing tremor count. This thing is exceedingly high priority to use on almost any game plan that focuses on beefing up Musou for Giga Chad power.
Really good pull, wasn't he?
Plus 2 coin power on anything is already stupid. Plus 2 coin power on top of final power, base power, or god forbid more coin power is just plain disgusting. High priority if you plan on using any Musou, even higher priority with Kanto 10 around the corner. Though due to circumstances in the intervallo, he may be unavailable to field at first, which would be funny. Moving along to the second Walpurgis. Meet Lantern Dawn is another one of those you hate to see the color green.
Zero priority.
She is a OOID. However, she comes with some level of usefulness in Rupture setups wherein you need to stabilize low amounts of count. If you don't wish to abuse the Heishos and their lord, she gets upgraded to a staple even. Regardless, she exists mostly for that purpose of being a cheap Rupture count merchant and little else. Low priority since she will inevitably spook your rolls. Even lower if you don't plan to have fun with Heisholess Rupture or
actually did as well. I wanted, though, literally just, you know, it's a gacha game, right? Sometimes you have to look at it from the perspective of there's certain characters you just want to get, just from a collection standpoint. So I was actually happy about this. And even that it's, like, obviously, this is more for sharding, and we got spooked. But still, You know, this is a collection character for me. This is.
Or any other kind of rupture plans. The clashing is god-awful at times, and there
Oh, is
isn't
it?
much fixing that outside of going unopposed.
See,
That's
like
being a
that, at
double
the
L, I
minute,
guess.
for somebody like me who still hasn't got into depth of the combat, you know, I'm just sort of comfortable with clashing and stuff now, and offsetting, and some basic things of certain characters, right? Having high clash power is really, really useful for me, actually.
What me E.G.O, Magic Bullet Otis, the ID, not the E.G.O. This one is a burn staple, but kind of a wet
This is
noodle
what I really
on her
want.
own. Her entire claim to fame is application of a debuff called Dark Flame, that of which lowers defense level and amplifies burn damage as pride damage instead. On her own, she is quite clunky due to the way her bullets stack up, and having a weird soft cap at 4, needing either external help to function later on, or for her to awkwardly stand there waiting for a skill free, or spam her defensive skill to get to higher magic bullet stacks. On her own, she is low priority, around moderate I suppose if you just want any Dark Flame application at all. But if you have the resources to shard her, and the relevant E.G.O that we'll cover later on, she becomes one of Burn's very best payouts and thus moves up to high priority if you can get both.
Her and her E.G.O, it's like you're cooking, right? Because I really would like to get her and her E.G.O, because that's why, like, if we could just get lucky and get either, and then we can shard the ID or something, right? Because I just think I think it actually might be the coolest character that I've seen so far, personally, for me. With the E.G.O as well. Like, it's just so fucking cool, man. So cool.
Now for the third Walpurgis. Dawn Office Fixer Sinclair is stupid high priority if you are rolling this Walpurgis. If you want to get use out of around a third of Uniforce and Salvador Gregor's kits, those being assist attacks and Philip specific upscales, you need to get this guy. While he is
interesting,
a bit of an unreliable,
because we've got Gregor, maybe this becomes a bit of a priority at the moment, at least in terms of team building, right? You know? Do you reckon we go for Dawn Office Sync, maybe? See, this is actually a really good video. This is a really good video to check out, actually, this was.
Sanity Yo-Yo. All the buffs
essentially on her own, the ID's too slow. Get both, she's cracked.
Quite functional units into a borderline broken one. Being able to double up on Blazing Strike, as well as activate Burn on a burn count healthy skill, is bloody insane. I'll cover more about his upscale tomorrow with the inevitable 9th Walpurgis video, but yeah, if you manage
the whole
to roll
Dawn Office is
any
cracked.
of the 2 new IDs, this fella's priority goes up significantly higher. Otherwise, he's a fun unit to use and not as high priority due to having some solid replacements soon.
That's how we see how you left over Paul's goal. Yeah.
Dawn Office
see, like, it's like I'm after seeing this now, I'm like, because I was thinking to go on the secondary banner to increase my potential chances of getting Magic Bullet, but I'm like, I don't know if I just, you know, maybe hope to pick him up. Ooh, throwing a bit of spanner in my works, he says.
Last bit of capability out of them. The other 2 this time are E.G.Os both in bleed territory. Ishmael's Wing Beat is relatively low priority due to use case. It's an E.G.O if you enjoy gambling for damage and reset heavy playstyles. Notably, if you are a
speedrunner just stay with the one banner. Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
Your best friend and worst nightmare at the same time. It's an insane reroll based E.G.O that lets you stim up gluttony fragility and deal out a stupid amount of bleed potency with any luck. Due to how competitive Ishmael's He slot is, however, this is usually sidelined for better stuff. Low priority. You are getting this via Spook, or sharding it if you have a specific use case or know what you are planning to do with it. Otherwise, not really worth
Hope
your
is a
time
strong
and effort to go
word.
out of your way for. Rodya's Sanguine Desire, on the other hand, is significantly more useful in pretty much patching up any bleed plan that doesn't involve the ring. While the new ring IDs have made bleed a lot more stable, this thing works as perfect stability from the turn you can pop it. Previously, I would have put this one as one of the single highest priorities, but if you have a lot of the seasonal bleed stuff this time around, I would be a little more hesitant in rating it quite so high, since it acts as a win more button that doesn't exactly make you win that much more in comparison. Rodya doesn't benefit from the passive as much as you think she would, due to a lot of her bleed application being locked away in weird status effects instead. See Mold Color Rouge, for example, on the Docent. The skills themselves don't actually have...
See, like, man, Limbus really does have quite a lot of nuance going to it, doesn't he? You know what I mean? Again, like a lot of the specifics, nuances he's talking about. Obviously, I can tell. Oh, that sounds good, but like how potentially useful it would be for me. These sort of videos really are still very useful for me. Actually, I'm actually glad we watched this because again, I do have some combat videos saved to watch later on YouTube that we need to check out because I really, really, really do want to start understanding the more deeper aspects of the combat in Limbus. And I know people keep saying, "Don't worry, it'll start to come to you." Right? There's like I've got people saying, "Man, I've been playing for a while and there's still a lot of stuff I don't understand." Which, of course, I'm not that guy who's going to be like, I know every aspect of the game. But it does genuinely make me want to learn more, you know, because my experience of learning the combat so far, for me, has been a really pleasurable experience. And I honestly want to be able to look at units and look at the kit and be like, yes. Like, at the minute, I'm still kind of like, you know, a lot of it is waifu meta with me at the moment. So, yeah, I think we've got to make that happen one of the days soon where we just, even if I don't do it on stream, but I might do it on stream because you guys can help me where stuff I might be misunderstanding, because I definitely do misunderstand quite a lot in this game, if I'm honest. A few times I've said stuff, you guys are coming in and actually you're sort of on the right path, but you're kind of misinterpreting that there. So I think that might be a good thing to do on stream, actually.
High bleed application on their own. Thanks to the new ring fellas though, this can shift down to moderate priority if you have them, but remain high if you don't. Onto the fourth Walpurgis, we're looking at my first one. Lobotomy, E.G.O, Red Eyes, and Penitence Roshu is a cool charge bleed ID that doesn't really do much special in either. She's something of an all-rounder that offers some decent damage, okay support, and is largely self-sufficient. She operates better on a bleed or charge battery focused team to stack up nicer, but otherwise is there to build up charge, slam serious skullbusters, and profit. It is worth mentioning that her support passive is quite good, if only for NV teams, and otherwise she does have access to some useful debuffs.
I do like the simplicity of some of the charge stuff, though. You know, just stack the charge, let it go. You know, my earlier stages with my charge units, I could get a lot more out of them in the sense that because that was a little bit easier to understand. Still now, you know, I'm not cracking the potential. One, because not everything's uptight and I don't have, obviously, the synergy max out, but still sometimes I miss particular things, right? I don't do things that I should be doing when I'm like, fuck. I miss potentially like getting a bunch more potential out of that fight in particular scenarios. For me, the best to start learning about team building is to first learn the base statuses in Limbus. Yeah, again, even that, like, I'm a little bit iffy with it, you know what I mean? So, like, I agree with that as well. Like, obviously, I think first, you know, learning clashing, you know, offsetting, stuff like that. Learning when to prioritize particular enemies, when maybe to not go for clashes and stuff like that is obviously, I think, is like a baseline thing, and I'm still working on that, right? And obviously it changes depending on the fight and stuff. But yeah, I think you're right. I really do need to get into it. You don't need to learn combat that much till you reach. I want to though. Do you know what I mean? Like I get what you're saying, but I'm probably going to be a Canto 9 before I really understand it. I probably am. But at the same time, I kind of want to understand it before it's necessary, so I don't get in a position where there's frustration of like, I'm getting cooked here and I don't know why. You know what I mean?
Bind and attack power down. If you like the whole,
I still believe that clashing direction and resistance is the biggest importance.
I used her as a thumbnail for the last time I did one of these videos. Low priority, I wouldn't go.
Charge is very self-sufficient,
these days. The other two though. One fella is about to get a massive upscale. Lobotomy, E.G.O, Solemn Lament Yi Sung is one of Sinking's major payouts in Butterfly. He exists to clash, stuff enemies full of butterflies, and watch them melt away due to Sinking and Departed stats converting into gloom damage. The new Solemn Lament E.G.O only boosts his consistency further in offering him more bullets, discard, and SP heals, all of which offsetting his major weaknesses. If you end up with the butterfly minigun, this fella skyrockets in priority, if only due to all the major effects he receives in return for riddling his opponents with holes. High priority, non-negotiable. Get this.
Do we see a lot of that in Limbus then? Again, my first will be not many banners, right? So do we see a lot of units coming out, being good, but then getting dragged up to being great with releases of E.G.Os, like staggered E.G.Os that work with that unit? Like, you know, obviously a lot of gacha games will do. Obviously, of course, team synergy as well. But like a lot of gacha games, you know, it's pretty much character, weapon, and then a unit will come along later that potentially synergizes well with that unit, and you kind of get like almost like a bit of a belated buff. Is this kind of a almost, I suppose, that in a way? Kind of recently. Oh, is it more of a recent trend? Oh, interesting. Okay. Interesting. Okay. All right then. Interesting. See, I thought that was just something that's been going on since launch. All right, cool.
This guy if you want to have any fun with syncing for the near future. While the new E.G.O lets Riensung apply,
I suppose so. As well, doing it like that can potentially be a way to, one, obviously buff units, but sometimes you can have units dropping gacha games where the plan's there, right, but it doesn't necessarily work on launch, either because of certain enemies in the game or team synergies, you know, and when people start using them, it really doesn't work how they'd intended it to. So, like, maybe having a staggered launch as well, it gives them a bit of information to look at and go, okay, we know what we can do now to add to the game that can really benefit this unit in a way.
It won't be anywhere near close.
Pretty sure Bullet Otis was the first, right? Oh, is that when it first happened? Okay.
Pure syncing game plans. As for Gregor's Solemn Lament, this one is 8 coins of payout to either sinking or rupture, depending on how you slice it. It's a lot of damage, very fun to use, but otherwise not the highest priority. It offers the same butterfly sinking plan that Yi-Sung would, but unfortunately goes lower in priority thanks to the new E.G.O coming out. Gregor does have nice sinking IDs to place this on, however, so consider it low to moderate.
Recently started making old IDs powerful with new E.G.O. That's dope. That's dope. I love it when gacha games bring in something that brings old units back. You could either go down the route of like, let's just straight buff a unit. I tend to find it more interesting when new things get added to the game that makes old units really useful. Whether it's just a new support and then it's like all of a sudden, shit, that fucking DPS from like a year ago is cracked all of a sudden again now and really works with the new meta. I think it's cool when that sort of stuff happens.
But with the new stuff coming out, is being thrown out of a job.
Don't make a decision based off some video and look at your own team. He said, oh, of course. I'm just trying to educate myself a little bit around what the units are, because obviously everything I've seen through all the PVs, I'm just like, that looks cool. I don't really know what the unit's doing, so to have a little bit of that extra, it does help me. I think probably it would be more sensible to go for Dawn Office Sync. Like, I really want Magic Bullet just for the sake of having it, but I think Dawn Office might potentially be a little bit better for me, right?
To an extent.
Wait for Wolver Meta always. Yep.
The fifth Walpurgis Knight offers a synergistic duo and an essential E.G.O. Magic Bullet Otis is the paired E.G.O with, well, Magic Bullet
Otis. Sinclair's like that right now.
It offers a way to turbo up Magic Bullet stacks faster and has 7 unique patterns of fire,
Dark Flamey.
offering different...
Like, how badass is this, alright? How badass. Like, for me, just the Magic Bullet Otis and this E.G.O, I think it's the coolest thing in the game. It is so fucking badass. And the amount of animations that it has as well, it's just ridiculous. Like, when I watched that, I was just like, holy shit, this is like another level in terms of the visual element.
Applications of Dark Flame. Compared to the ID, this is a lot more consistent, but costs E.G.O resources to get going. It is, however, so ridiculously reliable that it is arguable that this has higher priority than the ID itself. If you have to get 2 things from the Wall PP dispensing, I'd probably nab these 2 if you're an enjoyer of burn. This thing just fixes so many issues all in one, and is pretty damn cool to look at to boot. In actual use though, you are aiming to
those are 14 animations E.G.O, yeah, crazy.
Bullet variations, and maybe the 7th if you want to execute things a specific way. Full Stop Heathcliff is one of the hardest hitting IDs, while he still has bullets at least. Half his kit is single coin skills that convert poise into sheer damage. He also offers the utility of Pierce Fragility.
I heard somebody else say that about the 7th bullet. I don't know what that means.
When he runs out of bullets, he retreats and buffs his duo partner's skills instead. He can come back with more bullets, but that requires...
If you got Magic Bullet, you should definitely prioritize the Dawn Office Sinclair so you can have 2 good team comps, Middle and Burn.
There's a fair bit of wang jangling to get a valid retreat strategy going, especially where you'd expect to run him. Regardless, if you just want a delete button for trash, or just a huge chunk of damage up front, this Heathcliff is at least of moderate priority. He becomes high priority,
oh, she taps herself.
Get his duo partner.
7 bullets, single big damage, but kills self. Oh, shit.
Offers some upfront damage and hands-off poise. His main gimmick, however, is to interact directly with Heathcliff to call for backup shots and assist attacks. These are always Heathcliff's skill 2, which burns a bullet for some relatively decent damage. This does reduce the time Heathcliff is on field in return for all that damage, however. Aside from that, he is an ammo ID that can keep fighting even when he runs out of ammo, and when Heathcliff retreats, his skill 2 and skill 3 get an extra coin to abuse. Moderate priority if you don't have Heathcliff, high priority if you do. Using them as a pair is
got into this retreating stuff as well. Sinny. I don't understand this.
Exceedingly brief with this one if possible. The bought me E.G.O, the sword sharpened with tears, Rodia
that's a dope
is one of the
piece of
single
art,
most
though.
broken units in the game. She soul sinking, deals such a ridiculous amount of raw damage, and otherwise does literally everything for you, provided you hit the counter button a.
That sounds good though. Still dumb. Negative coin ID that has a safety net makes her exceedingly stupid. Perfect for me, that sounds like. This is the highest priority, okay?
Single time and get her into a negative state. There are
does he come in with a gameplay mechanic that does? Okay.
Strong as this.
I was like,
arguably the new nurse father, but even that is still arguable. She is one of the highest priorities in any WoW-PP for any new player.
Is that like
a E.G.O, in the name of Love and Hate Don Quixote, is one of the most fan-servicey IDs that hits like a fucking truck. If you like Envy and enjoy turning your brain off, he is ungodly strong. Hits like a truck, stupid consistent, and unfortunately has really long skill animations due to the fan-servicey nature of it all. If you like the magical girls, grab her. If you want to
that's what I'm fine with that, but then I suppose when you're farming, maybe that's a frustrating aspect, right?
You're on the purple crayon, grab her. If you just
but you're still one of the strongest units.
Don flies, grab her. You get the idea. High priority, if only for being such a ridiculously hard-hitting hammer. In the name of Love and Hate, Don Quixote is an E.G.O that just boosts all of the magical girl's capabilities. While also usable in Envy Charge, most of the stronger buffs are all for the magical girl. This is
I had to just slap this on to see the animation, and I wasn't disappointed.
High priority if you have her, relatively low if you don't. As for how strong the buff is, he gets an extra skill free. That in itself is already completely broken, let alone all the other baseline benefits on offer, like turboing her engine or offering up to 25% extra damage on charge skills based on potency. This thing is a long-term plan and will help Don destroy a vast majority of encounters. Again, though, the price to pay is watching and staring at the animation every time. Because like the ID, the animation's bloody long. The 7th Walpurgis. When I started doing Limbus Company content. Good old Hanafuda days. We've got 2 general reception fixers, and yeah, that's it. Young office representative...
This unit as well, like, man, awesome, right? Awesome. Such a cool looking unit, and the animations are fucking awesome. It's moderate priority, easy. This is a little bit like Arc Knight to me now, Limbus is, where obviously I know I can get the stuff, but like, and I'm so happy. It's like a double-edged sword where I really do wish I'd have started playing the game earlier, but at the same time, I've got so much cool content ahead of me and I'm really enjoying it. But yeah, like I do when I look back, I'm like, oh, I should have started. I don't know why I didn't. It's like kind of stupid. Should have started the game earlier.
Ishmael isn't the highest priority out there, but is certainly fun as all hell to use. If you want to play Koi Koi inside of your Limbus Company, be my guest. He is one of the easier to use MD solos and otherwise provides the rising combination of Tremor and Sinking. Her claim to fame is Kolzan, which is a 5-coiner you get for playing her minigame right. Otherwise, she's a little prone to bricking if you don't have E.G.Os in the right sin affinities to bandage stuff. The play patterns can get very annoying, so go watch the first Limbus video on my channel for the rundown. Moderate priority, maybe high if you just need a good all-rounder that can slot into many teams. Night Owl's Capitano Gregor is a single-target Pierce, Bleed, and Tremor Savant. While Tremor Hemorrhage doesn't have as much support yet, this fellow can still offer decent enough damage and utility in his assist attack spam and bind. While not quite there in terms of power compared to many of the rest of WoWPP's offerings, he serves a niche that pretty much no one else fills. Never mind, and Corporoshu can do most of what he does. Not necessarily better, but still to a more potentially consistent degree. It's kind of sad. You can of course field both at once, but due to the instability of bleed and the single target restrictions of Gregor here, it doesn't feel particularly amazing to use. I would place this fella, unfortunately, at low priority.
Damn.
Now for the Walpurgis, the Dusk of Amber. Finally back to 2 IDs and an E.G.O. Not that we were gone for very long. The botany E.G.O Hornet's Alteration Merceau is a trench sweeper. He has attack weights on half his skills and spreads around spores like a motherfucker. These help with burn infliction and stability to a rather extreme extent, while his kit also offers some burn activations to capitalize on them. He is the best friend of many a burn count hungry ID.
Hey, sounds kind of an interesting unit.
Burn constantly. I would actually place this guy quite high priority, if only for enabling more degenerate pure burn strategies. From what we know of the upcoming ID.
What's up, Maria? It's a sharding guide. A sharding guide. I do plan to get into some combat guides and videos. Yeah.
He would partner quite well with them if one wanted to focus on the burn side of things. Do note that some of his...
I disagree about him having high priority. This unit is has very mid damage. TLDR for her mech, she'll glow a colour and you'll have to use a skill with the same colour. Don't her coals and bricks. Do it and you get up to 5 coin at ST new. She'll glow a certain colour and you have to use... okay. Alright then, that's fine. Okay.
Kit is cleanly locked away by on-kill conditions, so mileage will vary, but not by so extreme an amounts that he is unusable. The botany E.G.O, Faint Aroma, and Solitude Ryoshu is a skill-slinging monster. She can casually dump out 4 skills in a turn if certain conditions line up. Her slotted skill, her assist attack, her empty revolver unload, and her pedal skill. It is several levels of absurdity watching this ID do its magic. If you thought Furioso was particularly broken, this one can potentially put that to shame depending on status outgoing. While she doesn't stim either sinking or tremor fantastically, she pays off both by spamming skills downrange and having unique debuffs to throw around like mad. To me, she has become one of the highest priority, and with the inevitable rise of tremor and sinking combined, she only rises up higher. If you have Hanafuda, both Solemn Lament Yisangs, and Udjat Otis, she comfortably becomes a 4th member for this agenda. I would give this a very high priority if you missed her last time around. Maybe not for her fits, but definitely for her stupid capabilities. Harmony Sinclair
the drip
is
spire
just
as
a
well.
fun E.G.O. It can deal a rather devastating amount of damage due to its reuse conditionals, and has the added benefits of reducing Sinclair's HP right into fell bullet range. Otherwise, past its fantastic awakening, it does offer some baseline
also a favourite for people because she shoots her gun when House of Spider kills her teammates.
Like really? This thing, even if it's not the most practical. Honestly, a moderate priority since I rarely design teams around it. And that's all this time round. Bit longer than last time, I reckon, but that's to be expected with a shifting meta to compare against. Especially this season has a lot of things.
This video was way more like informative than I thought it was going to be. Again, I still lack the nuanced knowledge of this game, right? I'm still very surface level at the minute. But like, I thought this was just going to be like, I don't know what I thought it was going to be, actually. I didn't think it was going to be so much of a... One thing that I've got from this is that I still don't really want Magic Bullet Otis and her E.G.O, but like, for I guess maybe a potential ease of acquiring, maybe the Dawn Office Sync would be really useful for me to get as well, right? A couple of other people have suggested that as well in previous streams, maybe going for Dawn Office Sync. Yeah, this was good. Again, we are going to actually take some time soon. We're going to sit down, we're going to watch some videos, we're going to discuss it with chat. You guys can help me out in the comment section as well on like learning a bit more about the combat, getting a little bit more into the nuance of things, and like preparing ourselves for like when I'm going to need it, right? Because again, I think you guys can help me out a lot of it, because like when I think I'm understanding stuff sometimes, like say you guys come along and actually sort of, but not quite, and that's the buff sometimes. There's massive debuffs to streaming, but there is buffs sometimes of you guys being able to like instantly live correct me on the mistakes I'm making. So yeah, this was a great video actually from E.G.O or E.G.O EST. Informative. I like these. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna sub to these as well. Go check out this content creator. 5.5k subs. This video really did well. I can understand well why should I say as well, because I think this was really informative actually. It's a good video. good video. Because, like I say, I watched the PV, and it was like, ooh, flashy stuff. Didn't know half of what the units were doing right. So, got a little bit more information here now. So, yeah, it was a cool one.